We all admire people who seem calm in chaos, composed under pressure, and focused when the world gets noisy. But here's the truth. Mental strength isn't something they were born with. It's something they built one day at a time, through habits, through discipline, through conscious choices. You don't wake up one day mentally strong. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows with consistent use and weakens with neglect. Embracing discomfort daily is one of the most powerful habits mentally strong individuals cultivate. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the doorway to growth. Every time you step into a situation that challenges your mind, stretches your limits, or forces you to think differently, you are training your brain to adapt, endure, and evolve. Most people avoid discomfort because it feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar often feels unsafe. But the truth is, avoiding discomfort keeps you stagnant, while embracing it pushes you forward. Daily discomfort can come in small, intentional forms. It might mean waking up earlier than you want to. It could be choosing to have a difficult but necessary conversation. Sometimes it's saying no when it would be easier to say yes. Other times, it's saying yes to something that scares you just enough to make your heart race. These small acts may feel insignificant in the moment, but they compound into extraordinary inner strength over time. Each day that you lean into discomfort, you're building resilience. You're telling your mind and body that you're in control. Not fear, not doubt, not laziness. You become more flexible, more capable, and more confident. You begin to trust yourself because you've proven day after day that you can do hard things. Mental strength is not built during easy days. It's forged in moments of tension, challenge, and uncertainty. When you repeatedly choose to stretch instead of shrink, face instead of flee, you condition yourself to rise under pressure. You don't need to seek pain, but you do need to stop running from growth. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort, and those who learn to sit in that space daily become mentally unshakable. Protecting your mental diet is just as crucial as watching what you eat. What you allow into your mind shapes how you think, feel, and ultimately how you act. Every word you read, every image you see, every voice you listen to has an impact. It either feeds your strength or weakens your resolve. Mentally strong people are not careless with their attention. They treat it like fuel, because that's exactly what it is. Just as you wouldn't put contaminated fuel in a high-performance engine, you shouldn't allow toxic content into your mental space. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, gossip, negative news, and meaningless entertainment constantly compete for your focus. If you don't make conscious choices about what you consume, your mind becomes cluttered, anxious, and reactive. A strong mind is not one that knows everything. It's one that knows what to ignore. When you feed your brain with inspiring books, meaningful conversations, and content that challenges your thinking in a positive way, you're reinforcing your resilience and clarity. It's not about becoming rigid or cutting yourself off from the world. It's about being intentional. Being mentally strong means choosing content that aligns with your values and your purpose. It means unfollowing people who drain your energy, silencing voices that trigger insecurity, and replacing mindless scrolling with learning, reflection, or silence. Your mental inputs are the seeds. Your thoughts, decisions, and mindset are the harvest. If you want to be strong, focused, and emotionally stable, you have to feed your mind accordingly. What you allow in shapes what comes out. Protect your mental space like your future depends on it, because it does. Leading your inner voice is one of the most essential habits of mentally strong individuals. That voice inside your head, the one that narrates your life, questions your actions, and interprets every moment, can either be your greatest ally or your harshest critic. Most people allow that voice to go unchecked, letting it run wild with fear, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs. But mentally strong people take control. They don't just listen to their thoughts, they lead them. You can't always control the first thought that comes into your mind, but you can always choose the second. When the inner voice says, "We're not good enough," you can speak back. "I've done hard things before, and I'll do this too." When it whispers, "What if you fail?" you respond, "What if I grow?" And this is not about blind positivity. It's about conscious leadership, guiding your mind instead of being a passive receiver of its noise. Leading your inner voice means building an inner dialogue rooted in truth, courage, and self-respect. It's not about silencing fear, but about refusing to let fear have the final word. The voice in your head is powerful, but it's also programmable. The more you speak with strength, clarity, and purpose, the more your inner voice reflects that back to you. It takes practice, patience, and self-awareness. You lead your inner voice by the books you read, the company you keep, the goals you pursue, and the standards you hold. And when you do it daily, your mind starts working for you, not against you. You become grounded, focused, and emotionally resilient, not because your thoughts are perfect, but because you've trained them to follow your lead. Reflecting and self-correcting is a daily habit that sets mentally strong people apart. Life moves fast, and without intentional pauses, we can easily repeat the same mistakes, carry emotional baggage, or operate on autopilot. Reflection is the process of stepping back to observe yourself, your actions, risk reactions, patterns, and choices. It's not about judgment or guilt. It's about awareness and growth. When you take time to reflect, even for a few minutes, you create space between action and reaction. And that space is where wisdom lives. Mentally strong people don't fear reflection. They rely on it. They ask themselves difficult questions. Why did I react that way? What did I learn from today's challenges? What can I do differently next time? These questions open the door to clarity, accountability, and self-improvement. Reflection shines light on blind spots and reveals the small adjustments that can lead to big shifts over time. But reflection without correction is incomplete. Self-correction is the next step. It's taking what you've observed and adjusting your behavior accordingly. It's learning from missteps, not just noticing them. If you said something you regret, you apologize. If you broke a habit, you understand why and set yourself up better tomorrow. It's a loop of learning, not punishment. This practice strengthens mental resilience because it teaches you to become your own coach. You don't wait for someone else to point out your flaws or guide your path. You lead yourself with honesty and intention. Daily reflection and self-correction build emotional maturity, sharpen your focus, and help you grow into the person you're trying to become. It's not about being perfect. It's about being committed to learning, to adjusting, and to showing up better every single day. Honoring your self-promises is one of the most underrated but powerful ways to build mental strength. Every time you make a commitment to yourself, whether it's waking up early, exercising, staying off your phone, or being more present, you're making a silent contract with your future self. When you keep that promise, even in small ways, you reinforce trust. And trust in yourself is the foundation of confidence and discipline. The problem is, we often break promises to ourselves far more easily than we would to others. We rationalize, we delay. We say it's just one day or it doesn't matter. But it does matter. Every broken self-promise weakens your internal credibility. On the surface, it may seem like nothing, but underneath, your mind starts to believe you can't rely on yourself. That belief erodes motivation, self-esteem, and resilience. Mentally strong people treat their commitments to themselves with the same seriousness as their commitments to others. They understand that each kept promise, no matter how small, sends a message. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am in control. Whether it's drinking water first thing in the morning or reading for 10 minutes before bed, consistency builds identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who shows up even when it's hard. You don't need to start with huge goals. Start with one promise a day. One thing you will do, no matter what. And then do it. Over time, those daily acts become a powerful force. You become mentally stronger, not by grand gestures, but by keeping your word to the most important person in your life. Yourself. Because if you can trust yourself, nothing can shake you. Consistency is power because it transforms effort into results and intention into identity. It's not the big, dramatic actions that shape your life. It's the small, repeated ones that seem ordinary in the moment, but build something extraordinary over time. Mentally strong people understand this deeply. They don't rely on motivation because motivation is fleeting. Instead, they commit to showing up regardless of how they feel. That decision, to keep going even when it's boring, hard, or inconvenient, is what separates the average from the exceptional. Consistency builds trust not just with others, but with yourself. When you show up daily, even in small ways, you prove to your mind that you are reliable, focused, and disciplined. Each time you follow through, you reinforce a belief that you can be counted on. That belief turns into confidence. Confidence turns into momentum. And momentum creates transformation. But consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about returning again and again to what matters. It's writing even when you don't feel inspired, training even when you're tired, choosing good habits even when no one is watching. It's the quiet persistence that no one celebrates but everyone respects when they see the results. The compound effect of daily discipline is often invisible in the beginning, but over time it becomes undeniable. The most mentally strong people are not always the most talented. They are simply the most consistent. They've learned that excellence is not an act, but a habit. Success, strength, clarity, resilience, all of these are built through repeated effort. Consistency doesn't guarantee instant progress, but it guarantees eventual growth. It's not about how much you do in one day, it's about what you do every day. In the end, consistency is not just a habit, it's a superpower. So if you're looking for a shortcut, there isn't one. Mental strength isn't given, it's earned day by day, habit by habit. It's built in the early mornings when no one's watching, in the quiet choices you make when it's easier to quit, and in the promises you keep to yourself when no one else would know if you broke them. These 5 habits may seem simple, but practiced daily, they reshape who you are at your core. Because real power isn't about being louder, tougher, or faster. It's about being consistent, intentional, and unshakable from within. That kind of strength can't be taken. It must be lived. Every single day,